All right, everybody, welcome to KBN Live on a Tuesday night, coming off the holiday weekend. Hope everybody had a great, safe holiday weekend, but we're glad to be here on a Tuesday, bringing a special guest that just got back from I guess across the Mason-Dixon line, came across the border there and did a little damage over the weekend. But yeah, I'm Jeff Malott. We got my partner in crime up there, Ryan Lambert. We're gonna have some fun tonight, talking to Dave Sewell. Dave, thanks for taking the time to join us, man.
Hey, my pleasure.
Before we get to talking to Dave, Ryan and I, last week on the show, we were talking about our weekends and riding high on glory. I was Ryan's favorite internet angler. Ryan just came off a W, and things have changed. Yeah. I got my butt kicked in the bracket, got kicked out of the bracket by Mr. Troy Anke, one of the hammers from Missouri there. And then, Ryan, you want to break down your weekend?
The mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
It was, it started Thursday with a bunch of stolen kayaks. Friday, I had to go to work and then try to bum a freaking boat to fish my Saturday tournament with. Luckily, Joe McElroy from down in Alabama, he hooked me up with a PA-14, but the caveat was I had to get up at 2 a.m. to go meet him to get it. So my day started a little rough, and it never got any better. Thanks to this man here, Dave. He pretty much burnt the house down on Chickamauga and left with all the money.
Say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Sorry, not sorry. That's the old hashtag. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Well, that was a good one, man. You put on a pretty good show. I don't think we've seen anything like that on Chick yet.
I'm glad to be the first to do it then. That was...
Yeah, I mean, Christine had a big year last year on the KBF Chick. She put up, I want to say it's like 101 inches or something like that, but you had like 102 on the board by 9 o'clock or something demoralizing.
850.
Okay, 850 it was. So tell us, like, how did your day start out?
Yeah, the best thing that I had was I pulled up to the ramp and nobody was there. And so I got all loaded up in the dark and whatever, and I just kept thinking, okay, there's going to be a parade of 3 or 4 or 5 trucks pull in here. Not a single other kayaker pulled in on my ramp. And I was talking to Nathan Green, while I was sitting there trying to get ready. I told him, it's like, man, I'm putting all my chips on one number today. I got no plan B. I got plan A and plan A. So I could go out here with 2 rods, and that would be all I need. I still loaded up 10, but I used a couple for like 15 minutes, and then I was on 1 rod the rest of the day. But it's like I didn't have a plan B. I was just going out there. So it was great when nobody else showed up at the ramp. I had plenty of time, took my time getting out to a couple spots, and so it was pretty relaxed that way. And man, it caught fire pretty quick for me.
What time did you hook your first fish?
I think it was, I went out and it was dark and calm. I just started throwing a whopper plopper for about 20 minutes. Nothing at all. Threw out a Kayak for another 10 minutes. Just out in some open flats, trying to get over some weed stuff, whatever, and nothing. And I spent the next 9.5 hours throwing a wacky rig. I mean, just a Cinco.
Of course.
Slap a Cinco on it. Slap the Cinco on
it. The magic. Nobody else was doing that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that was the magic.
Yeah.
I'm the only guy in the lake throwing a Cinco. Right? So that's, but it was probably about somewhere 5 to 10 minutes after I started throwing the Cinco. I hooked into a 19.75. And just a few minutes later, I hooked into a bigger one, and he spit the hook. And then it wasn't maybe another 10 minutes, I got a 21.75. So probably within 30 minutes, I already had a couple of good kickers.
Yeah, I like when my stringer's full of kickers. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, when you get your kickers first, it makes life a lot more pleasant. And and then I think I got another 18.5 and 17 whatever, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to take a breather. I'm going to go to the next spot, and in the meantime, that's when I just dumped my first on the Tourney X. I don't even remember what I had at that time, 90 something. But it wasn't even another, like you were saying, I think by 850, I already had 102 inches, something like that. And it's like at that point, I mean, I could have gone back to the van and taken a nap. And
yeah, I probably would have. What made you continue just to kick people's teeth in?
No, I mean, yeah, I like to kick people's teeth in. I don't do that very often. But I got to say, it's kind of fun doing it in retrospect. But, in all honesty, I wanted to get a freaking double digit while I was there. I don't get a fish there every day. I haven't been there since the Hobie event last year. And I'm sitting there looking at it, seeing, I'm around big fish. They're hitting. Why not hook up to a double digit here? And never got one. At least never got one in the boat. I think I might have had one on late in the afternoon, but never got one in. But that was it. I mean, literally, I had, we were 2.5, almost 3 hours in, 7 hours to fish, and I mean, it's like, God, can this tournament be over? I'm ready to be done now. It's like I got 7 hours for everybody else to be hunting the double digits now. So I never felt safe. But Steve-O called me. And when Steve-O called me at the restaurant afterwards, that's when it's like, oh, okay, there. So I figured Ryan, I figured you probably sandbagging, or
I wish
DJ
I was
or somebody
buddy.
God. I figured somebody probably, one of the Goldens picked up another 24, 25.
So that's what keeps the pressure on, man.
Well,
is you see these guys snatching 24, 25-inch fish, that can make up a lot in a hurry.
Yeah, and I assume those two guys were fishing together. I don't know that, but I assume
opposite directions.
Together. And they found two of them, right? So why not a third? If either one of those guys picks up a 25 or something, I don't know what they had at the bottom of their bag, but a 25 would probably get him another 7 or 8 inches.
Brad Golden said he couldn't have caught you in 2 days of fishing. He's lying. Don't believe Brad. Brad can fish.
I know he just needed one more, So no, I never felt safe. I felt it's like, once I was over 100, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to cash a check. I'm almost for sure going to cash a check. Now.
Yeah, all of the checks, yes.
But yeah, it's like, I still kind of wanted to get the win out of it. But
did you peek at the leaderboard at all?
I didn't at first until I dumped my first. I dumped a limit in because they were just hitting. I didn't want to take the time to stop because it's not like I was catching them every cast, but every 10, 15 minutes I was bringing in another fish, and so I didn't want to take too long. But after that, every time I caught a fish, I'd go ahead and submit it. And then I'd check the leaderboard and say, okay, which Golden caught another one? I'm just keep waiting on one of those guys to jump. And it's like, no, the lead just kind of kept stretching a little bit. It's like, all right, now I'm thinking sandbaggers. So
I sandbagged with about 75 inches of fish. I didn't catch my fifth fish till about 20 minutes to go in the tournament. I wasn't sandbagging. I just wanted a limit before I posted something.
Yeah.
What a meager limit it was.
Yeah.
Well, that's impressive, man, that you're able to keep the hammer down. I've never heard someone so calmly say I like kicking people's teeth in. That was hilarious.
Not like I've got a lot of experience doing that, but
felt good, didn't it?
It did feel good. If I could pick anywhere to do it, I think Chickamauga is the right place. My God.
So you didn't just randomly stumble upon this spot, though. You were telling me this is something that you found back at the Hobie last year.
No, actually not. Last year at the Hobie, I had a really good practice. I caught my personal best there. I got a 10.5 pounder when I was practicing for that. But it was in February, so you're at winter pool levels and whatever. And so you always hear don't fish history and so on. But it's like I come back, it's like, yeah, I don't fish history, but I saw a double digit. I caught a double digit. I'm going to go try that place. So first place I went and practiced, I went back to that spot. I got skunked that day. Got nothing. I went out ran my other places that I'd practiced in February the second day. I picked up, 5 or 6, but nothing bigger than maybe 16, 17 inches. So I wasn't feeling too good about my last year's spots.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't surprised, but I had to give them a try. And then I just I went and checked out another spot on Tuesday morning, and it's like, I'm finding something here. There's a whole lot of stuff to look for out there where I was at. I mean, there's all kinds of grass and drop-offs and points and banks and cypress trees and willow trees and docks. I mean, just, the whole gamut of stuff to try. And through the process of that, I kind of came across a pattern. And my biggest that day was still under 20, like 19 3/4, I think I got on that day. But it's like, you know what? There's fish here. And I saw another guy catch an even bigger one. And so Wednesday I took off because my van broke down. And,
oh, man.
Had to deal with that. And then Thursday I just went back to the same spot just to validate, are they still there? And it was still good. So I kind of made a short day of that and said, basically Friday I'm taking off. Saturday I know where I'm fishing. I had my spot at that point. And I was just, it's like they were there Tuesday, they were there Thursday. What are the odds they're going to be there Saturday? Like, I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Yeah.
Turned out they were. So it worked out great for me.
And you had it all to yourself. How about that?
And, well, I had it all to myself from a kayak standpoint. And I had it all to myself for about the first maybe hour and a half. And then I had like 150 bass boats and party boats and whatever around me. So,
okay, so
yeah, it didn't last. But at least I knew that I didn't have people, my own kayakers, competing for my fish.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to see the bass boats pull out my double digit, but I'd rather see them do it than some guy coming in on a,
Attaboy, that's that community spirit we like to hear. Let the bass boaters have the double digits. Nobody in a kayak's getting one.
Screw you guys, man.
I like that, Dave. I like it.
Come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow and I'll cheer for you, just not today.
So awesome. How many tournaments do you fish a year? I know you travel around a lot. I see you a lot on the road. I see you at ramps a lot in these big tournaments.
Last year was really my first year of really fishing. 2018, I fished one tournament. That was the first tournament I ever fished. I fished up at Lake St. Clair in their Border City Classic.
Mm-hmm.
That was in June of 18. Didn't fish another tournament until Chickamauga.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I decided over that winter I was going to kind of kick it in and start fishing. I saw the Hobie series come up, so I decided I'm going to go ahead and go that way pretty big time. And so I fished a few of the Lake St. Clair events as well. So last year I probably fished, I don't know, maybe a dozen to 15 tournaments. And then this year I think I've fished maybe 7 tournaments now. So I've fished
how
all
long
the
have
Hobies.
you been bass fishing?
When I was a kid growing up, I fished the ponds and the creeks around my house, and I was passionate about that. But, catching a 12-inch shiner was, a big day back then. And I mean, I did a little bass fishing, but I was never a bass boat guy. I never knew anybody with a bass boat, so I'd never really fished out of a boat at all. And it was really, we bought a small lake house in Michigan back in 2014. 2015. And so I was on the lake, and it's like, I know this is temporary. I'd like to get out on the lake. Don't really want to buy a boat, so I bought a Hobie Pro Angler. Just kind of randomly went out and bought one of those and never looked back. And that's when I kind of started really bass fishing serious at that point. So I didn't know much at all about bass fishing. And I mean, I knew how to throw a Texas rig curly tail worm. That was it. That was my one trick pony.
It's a good start.
And you leveled all the way up to a Cinco.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Well, now I carry 10 rods. I still just throw the Cinco. But.
Right.
10 rods, 5 Texas rigs, and 5 Cincos.
Get her done. It works. Whatever works. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's next on your list? Sorry, Jeff.
No, go ahead.
You get the next one, Jeff. You take the next one.
You're good, man.
I've lived in Indiana all my life, except for a couple of side times from work. I lived other places, but I've always lived in Indiana, but I've hardly fished bass real bass fishing in Indiana. Turns out there's some pretty good fishing here and some pretty good kayak hammers as well. And so once the national scene kind of shut down here a couple months ago, I decided, what the heck, I'm not going to stop fishing. So I signed up for, I fished like 3 of the smaller trail tournaments here.
Yeah.
And now there's another one next, not this coming Saturday, but the following weekend. So I'm going to fish that one. I won that tournament on a small lake here in Indiana, and now they have a series on each lake. So I think there's 5 or 6 tournaments on that small lake. So this will be the second one. So I'm going to go back and fish that one in a couple weeks.
Gotcha.
And then it's Kentucky Lake after that.
Well, that leads into the question I had for you, which is, how in the world do these people from Indiana keep coming south and winning tournaments? I mean, you're not the first guy to do it. You got Mike Elsie's from Indiana. You got the Orrs are from up that way.
Yeah,
I mean,
they've done okay.
Yeah, Jacob Wheeler on the up on the BPTs from Indiana.
Yeah.
So
not anymore. Now he's from Chattanooga.
Yeah,
you can have him back.
What's the secret sauce from Indiana that these guys come out of there and can just catch them?
I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. Because we sure don't have the Tennessee River, and I mean, we don't have the lakes in Texas. We don't have the double-digit bass to keep us, fired up every day that we're chasing. So, I guess I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's kind of funny because there are quite a few Indiana guys that are making a name for themselves.
I heard, I told you before we came on that I'm originally from Ohio, and I heard one of the Shryock brothers from Ohio. They asked him a similar question, and he said, if you can catch a bass, a largemouth in Ohio, you can catch them anywhere because it's
that's a good answer.
It's not like it's the best habitat. Would that play the same in Indiana? It's kind of the same habitat.
It's probably pretty much the same. Now I know, Jackson, obviously, he's putting up 5-6 pounders about every weekend he goes out. You see another picture of him holding up got onto this one. So I don't know where he fishes. I'm going to kind of creep on him, I think, sometime soon. find out where those little secret spots are. But we got a good lake down south. I know Lake Monroe's putting out some pretty good fish this year, and we got a nuclear power plant lake down in Sullivan area that I've heard's got some really good bass. I've never fished it. So there's some fish in there. I just don't have the experience on it. But,
speaking of the oars, Jackson got daddied on the big fish down here on Chickamauga. My buddy texted me. He's like, dude, I think I just watched Jim Orr pull up a 12-pounder. And I was like, no freaking way. So I go back and I'm looking through the standings and I'm looking at Jim's stringer, and it was like 14, 14 and a half, 14, 14 and a half, 24 and a half.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I can't imagine sitting there like plucking out 14s all day and then,
and then have
freaking fish of a lifetime's on the string. Oh my gosh. Congrats.
How many 24-inch fish got caught that? I mean, there was a bunch caught.
That was third. That was third place, or tied for second, but he didn't get the big money.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? To catch a 24 and a half. And it was a fat one too. It wasn't just
it was a monster.
It was a nice thick 24 and a half.
Yeah.
And he didn't get the first nickel for that bass.
Chick showed out, man. Chick was putting out some really, really good fish for some of the people that weren't me.
Bless it. Hey, so
I know, man.
You know what? That event,
that freaking big bass brawl or whatever the prior weekend, right? So they're like 3 days in a row with
the Big Bass Splash, and we fished a tournament during that, and it was terrible. I can imagine. It was awful, man. Bass boats everywhere.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, that's why I had the Cinco in the front of my lineup. I just figure as far as a pressured lake goes, or a little Cinco is usually going to be one of your best bets at taking that on. So that might have worked out good for me having that, because I might not have even thrown a Cinco if I hadn't felt like there was, a million boats.
We had our tournament that weekend of the Big Bass Splash, and as Jeff said, I won that one. And the only reason I ended up throwing a Cinco is because the only hook I could find in my boat was equipped to throw a Cinco. No, I didn't have anything else, any other option, or I wouldn't have thrown a Cinco. Yeah. But that's what I caught, a 21.75, solid 6-pound bass in front of like 12 boats in the Big Bass Splash. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're all flipping jigs and throwing chatterbaits, just running docks as fast as they can. But I think that pushed a lot of fish into places they normally wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I was catching mine out in front of docks, like
Yeah.
way out in front of docks where, you know, there's nothing to hold them there. But I think there was so much pressure on the docks, they pulled out.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my logic anyway.
You guys, I
Hey, I
don't
don't know
know
if you guys can see me, but it's getting dark, and my studio light is getting on my eyes. Give me a 5 seconds.
we kind of whited you out there for a minute. He's ghosting us. Ryan.
I liked it, man.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, he's getting hot. This is hot streak. We talk about hot streaks.
Is that
They
any
just
better
hit
or
his.
not?
That's pretty good.
That's
Yeah,
better.
Hang on, let me try
you're
one more.
You're kind of glowing in the dark there for a minute, Dave.
I'm honestly impressed you have a studio light, Dave. I don't.
He's low key on the social media, but he's got the
That's
equipment
called
if he
a
needs it, buddy.
stoplight. There, how's that? Is that any better?
No,
Yeah,
that's
now we're
great.
good. Hey, I don't know if you guys are in the comments or not, but Steve just put some stats in there. He said there were 19 fish over 20 inches caught and 37 over 19, just off the top of his head. So it showed
I
up.
wasn't responsible for one of those.
Did you throw a Cinco? Did you throw a Cinco this weekend?
Dude, God, Jeff. The only thing I didn't throw was all my rods in the water. I only dropped 2 the whole time. I was not having a good day. Ugh.
Now you're fishing out of somebody else's kayak. What can you expect?
Dude, I wish I had stayed in bed. I hate to be like that. I knew, like, you talk about just a bad feeling. I had a bad feeling from Thursday when I got home and saw no kayaks by my garage. I was like, this is it, boys. It's over.
We've had a bunch of people already ask you if there's any word yet.
Yeah, how do you respond to that? That's just crazy.
Oh, my God. So there, I don't know. I think we're on to something. There's a crackhead that got busted stealing some fishing gear about 20 minutes up the road in another small town. And we kind of put the puzzle together. I think he's got some ties to our local crackhead population. So
They all hang together.
The indigenous crackhead population?
I mean, it ties back around to actually to ex-family member that is looped in with the group there. So I think we're close. I think I may have some answers here in the next couple of days. I hope so.
Good.
I'll be home
an
in 2
inside
days.
job, huh?
It had to be something because, like, I live in a small town. Like, everybody knows everybody. You'd have to be pretty stupid to roll up and do something like that where I live. So I think it was definitely an inside job. They were at least watching me leave to go fish Thursday morning because by the time I got back just after lunch, everything was gone.
Has there ever been a more viral stolen kayak post? I think that thing got shared like 1,000 times.
Seriously, it was like 2,300 times.
Oh my
and I
God.
thank
Yeah.
everybody for that support. If any of you want to share any video I do 2,200 times, please feel free to go ahead and do that. But
Share this live stream right now, 2,200
share the
times.
live stream.
Let's
man.
do this.
Yeah,
Let's
go
set
ahead.
some records
No,
tonight.
seriously, it's awesome, and I had so many people in the community reach out and offer boats or offer help. Some guy in Florida offered to start a GoFundMe, and I was like, dude, like, listen, I'm the last one you need to start a GoFundMe for. Like, I spend more money on dumber stuff, so I do really appreciate the support, and I should have a new boat Thursday when I get home. So I'm looking to get 360.
As always,
Looking to get back on the horse.
I've got stickers if you need them.
Yeah, please send me 2.
Unlimited, 2 at a time, unlimited.
2 at a time. 2 at a time.
2 at a time, unlimited. No. I was going to ask about the event itself again, and I do hope you find your boat, Ryan. But that event was kicked off as like a 3-state Bass Nation recruitment deal, more of a regional deal, but it turned into a national field pretty quick, didn't it?
Dude, it was a slugfest.
Yeah. I mean, I ran down the roster and thought, wow.
Like, my gosh, this is like an all-star game, and plus me. You know, it's like, holy.
And look at you.
I don't
Look at you, slugger.
Oh,
Jake Harshman
yeah,
he just said your
where'd
GoFundMe
you
money would be all
feel that
Yinglings.
stacked?
Say that again, Dave. I'm sorry.
Champions was as stacked as that, maybe, but other than that, I don't know when.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a pretty loaded field overall.
Yeah, it was impressive. And how many anglers fished? 80, 90 anglers, something like that?
No, 57, I think is what.
Was that all it was?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was
Yeah.
bigger than that, but it seemed bigger than that. And like I
It
said,
felt
the
bigger than
field
that.
was diverse, more than I thought it would be. Like I said, people from Indiana and out on the East Coast and all over the place came to the thing.
I think people are so bored, man. Like, if you throw up a decent paying live event, people are going to go to it. I know I am. I'm ready to go.
I mean, half of us, I'm sure, already had Chickamauga on May 23rd on the calendar, right? So,
yeah, and that's why that was the whole point of doing this is a lot of people had already made plans to travel for it. So, you know, it was just easy to kind of plug this recruiting event in or what. I mean, basically, we just wanted to have a live tournament and get people on the water to fish. So thank you, Steve-O, for putting that together. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no kidding. Steve-O did an awesome job, as always, pulling that together.
So, any word out there, Ryan, on what's going down with the Kentucky Lake event? I heard Dave mention earlier he's planning on going, but I haven't heard a yay or nay about it yet.
Everything I'm hearing is green lights. I think we're basically, if I'm AJ, feel free to jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's just basically waiting on the state to kind of give the official okay. But I know that Kentucky State Parks have posted they're opening back up, and you know, I think everything's going to be good, but they're going to enforce the social distancing thing. They don't want groups gathered. You know, obviously try to like not be on top of each other at boat ramps and stuff, or out on a ledge, you know, tied up with your kayaks together or whatever. But I think it's going to happen. I've got it on my calendar, so I hope it's going to happen anyway.
I've already got starting my homework right now. So
paper maps, you say?
Paper map guy.
Right. That's always step one. Get out the paper map.
All right, I feel you.
Paper map.
Jake Harshman's coming down. He said.
Harshman's coming.
Old school.
Harshman says he's coming, man.
He has to leave that Torpedo at home for the Hobie event. Tell him.
He don't know. He don't know nothing. He ain't ever fished a Hobie event. Okay, all right. He might have won one. Whatever.
AJ's in there. Should be an announcement any day. Wink, thumbs up, emojis. So that means extra good news, I think.
Like his enthusiasm.
Yeah, appreciate you, AJ. We don't have any links for Katie to find, or we'd throw a link in there too.
Oh man.
Yeah, it'll be coming quick. But what do you got coming up locally, Dave? Any more stuff coming up local for you before then, or are you just kind of counting days till that Kentucky Lake event?
Yeah, just again, there's a small lake called Lake Nyona, which is about an hour away from my house, and that's the one I'm going to weekend after next, and I'll probably almost go straight from there down to Kentucky.
And how long are you gonna be there? You gonna be there for the week, or just a few days?
I'll probably try to get there. I'll probably try to get there 5 or 6 days. Give myself some time to practice. It's not really even practice. It's just, again, I'm in Indiana, so when I get a chance to go to a Chickamauga or a Kentucky or Seminole or Fork or whatever, it's like, hey, I'm not going to go there and fish for 2 days. I'm going to go and fish for a week. So I just take it down. You know, I'm retired now, so I don't. You know, time's not an issue, and so I try to get usually about a week in each place.
That's cool.
And we talked about this before the show. So tell us about your rig, your travel rig.
I got a 20-year-old GMC Savannah. Yeah, I pulled the middle row and the back row seats out. Got my nice air mattress going. Got it blocked off so I can put all my tackle and seat and fish finders and all that stuff in the back of it, and all my rods down along the side. And just kind of my home away from home. Wherever there's a Walmart, I can call it a campground. And I'll tell you, this COVID thing, though, is kind of messing that up. It was nice Walmart has a 24-hour restroom, but now they shut down at 8:30 at night. And
what? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so kind of have to find other accommodations between 8:30 and about 7 in the morning.
You need to find you a Love's truck stop.
Yeah,
or a Pilot. I was talking to Siddiqui. Yeah, Pilot said he said he's marked pilots on his trip, so he knows which ones had the clean showers. Yeah, so, he's got it planned out.
Yeah, it sounds like he and I are following the same strategy there. $12 for, and they have nice showers at Pilot. People laugh at that, but they got a better shower there than I got at home. Like,
it's hard for me to say this, but I've actually never been inside a shower at the truck stop. So
hey, do it sometime. Pull out.
I'm putting it on the list, man. I'm putting it on the list.
Get out there and live a little bit, Ryan. Get in the truck.
I'm trying, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Ask Siddiqui if you can poach his spot for the shower and get in there.
Man, listen, I'll tell you, I rolled up to that ramp Saturday morning, and there's a truck already sitting there. And like I said, I mean, I got up at 2, so that's probably the earliest I've ever gotten to any ramp ever for a tournament. I pull in, and there's a truck sitting there. I'm like, how does somebody beat me to a ramp at like 3:30 in the morning? And I look, and it's Siddiqui, and he has his truck running, and he's asleep in the front seat. And I like knock on the window a couple times. I shine my flashlight in his eyes. He does not budge. So I go way out on this point where I found these fish, and he's still not up. So at like 6:20, I see his truck backing down the ramp. First cast was at 6, and I was like, man. Oh, man. Love it.
Bless his heart. And y'all, that didn't hold up for either one of y'all, did it, out there? All that arriving early.
I sat on it for 4 hours, and those fish never fired up. Siddiqui came out and sat on it for about another 2 hours. Never got a bite off of it. I mean, I think so. The wind was coming from the opposite side of the lake, and it shifted the mud line over about 30 yards. That's all I can logically discern that happened, because we fished them Thursday, and you could throw a shoestring in there, and they would eat it. I mean, they were hitting everything, jigs, crankbaits, shaky heads. I mean, all of it. And then went in there, and I fished it from every angle, every depth. I tried it from shallow to deep, deep to shallow, parallel. They wouldn't eat. So it sucks, but that's part of it.
Yeah,
take it right there on the old chin.
That's fishing, man. So if you guys are watching, we're here for you. Shoot some questions to us. I know some people asked about Ryan's boats. People asked about what Dave was doing. So fire away. We've kind of asked all the questions we want to ask him, and I'm sure we got some more we can think up. But we're here for the nation. So if you've got any questions for Dave, fire away.
So I'll ask you this, Jeff. We were talking about, and Dave, I'd like you to weigh in as well. With the spring open next spring, I want to try to do like a big event. More so, I want it to be a big tournament too, but more of a social gathering, like to get everybody together and get people from the West Coast and Texas and Midwest to hang out. What's you guys' favorite lakes? If you had to pick your top 5 lakes that have a big
Chickamauga and Chickamauga and Chickamauga. Is that it? I'm
fine with Chickamauga. I just would feel bad putting on a tournament in my backyard where I can't catch a limit of fish. I'd rather go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, what are your top 5, Dave?
Lake St. Clair has always been my number one. I know that's not the area you're looking at. I think Chickamauga's got to be a close second right now, if not in first at this point. They're all new to me. They're all, again, I've been fishing now out of the kayak for the last couple of years, and that's really the first I've been getting out in every one of these national events, whether it's the BASS or the Hobies. It's the first time I'm on those lakes. So even the ones in Indiana, those are the first times I've been on these lakes, these little tournaments I've been fishing in Indiana. So every lake I go to now, it's do the map study and so on. So I can't say I've got favorites. I mean, it's the ones we've been fishing in the Hobie events, I suppose.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeff?
Man, if I had to pick 5, everybody seems to pick regional stuff, but that'd be kind of the same for me. I love Lake Fork. It loves me and it hates me, but I love going there. I love Table Rock, which is right here in my backyard. Broken Bow Lake in Oklahoma's, one of my favorite places I've ever fished. The Upper Mississippi River, even though I haven't been there very much, I love it up there in the La Crosse area. What's that for? Shoot.
You didn't come down and fish Caddo, did you?
No, never been there. Never fished down in the swamps. So
Frank Reed just mentioned that, and honestly, that Caddo bite is, and Dave, you'll love it because it's a Cinco bite. But that just throwing Cincos at cypress trees and having a 6 or 7 pounder on like every 10th cast is insane. Like that was so much fun down there. That to me, that's definitely in the top 5. I mean, I would hate to put a tournament on Gunnersville, during my favorite smallmouth bite. So I'm trying to keep the close ones off the list because I want to move somewhere and and pull some people in. And what are you guys' thoughts on, like, some of the Northeast guys are like, you should have it up this way. Josh Evans, he's been pushing for like Upper Chesapeake. I just don't know what kind of attendance you would see as far as Midwest, Texas, California, these people going across the country, and they have a decent amount of local anglers, but you kind of move away from the center hub of the population. I want it to be well attended, obviously.
Yeah, man, you got to stay central U.S. I mean, not pure, you can't, not Iowa, but central southeast, just something easy to get to for both coasts. If they, not easy, but easier. I mean, nobody from California is going to Massachusetts, and nobody from there is going to California. But you put it in Tennessee somewhere or whatever.
Yeah, why not like Watts Bar or something? They're not getting a lot of attention.
So listen, Watts Bar. So from everything that I'm hearing and reading, Watts Bar is going to be the next Chickamauga. They've got Florida strain that are really, starting to take hold. They've got huge smallmouth. That's definitely in consideration. Andy Middleton basically threw out 3 of the 5 lakes I would never pick. Savannah River, Neely, Henry, and Weiss. Andy's just wanting to win this tournament. I like that, Andy. I like that. But we can't. We ain't gonna do that. Gene Bohannon says, "Damn Yankees."
Dang right. Hey, you know what? I like your Caddo Lake idea because my son lives down there. We could roll down there and have that little 2-on-2 game we've been talking about.
Jeff, I'm tired of hearing them gums, son. You told us that last time we were in Caddo.
Well,
me and Shane show up, bring our shoes. You did something, shot yourself in the earlobe or something, said you couldn't walk, and then didn't even show up.
I know. Had I been able to.
Buddy.
But I couldn't. But for one time, for one day, one match, we can make it happen if you had this on Caddo. At least we could play horse. At least we could play horse. I don't know, something.
Granny shot free throws.
Yeah, man, something.
No, man.
Wherever you have it, I think it's going to be huge. And like you said, with the spring being pretty much open, I mean, what's in the spring now? The Bass Nation thing, and that's it. And it's really going to be probably in February, not really in the spring.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we would work with BASS and Hobie on, kind of some scheduling buffers, so you gave folks time. But what I'm thinking, and again, this is all just spitballing stuff, but I'd like to do like a 3-day, big money event, $300 buy-in or something, and then maybe on a separate body of water do like a 1-day $75 buy-in for the folks that may not be super experienced in the kayak fishing but still want to come take part in everything and meet people and
awesome.
Get to pick the brains of some of the folks they might not get to see all the time. I'd like to focus on that part of it, and I know Josh Evans said he wanted to put together a charity deal, whether it's feeding the homeless, food bank type deal, so we can kind of tie a lot of things into this and really make it more about kind of giving back than what we're taking away.
Yeah, sounds like an awesome deal, and I think it would blow up. I think people would attend. Dave would probably load up the van and head on down, wouldn't you, Dave?
You can count on it. Yeah, I'm there.
Rodney Kennan on here talking trash. He said him and Jamie Broad going to team up and beat anybody on Caddo. Rodney, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Jamie Broad fished the last tournament on Caddo and didn't beat up on people. So I'm not pointing any fingers, but
didn't a guy from Indiana win that tournament?
Yeah, he did. Old Mike went down there and laid the hammer down.
Yeah.
By the way, Rodney, I shipped your stuff today. Don't think I forgot about you.
Yeah. Wherever it ends up, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I think that thread you put up on KBN went nuts. It had 300 or 400 comments, all kinds of ideas.
I mean, I think people want and to do it not affiliated with anything and just kind of, everybody weighing in their 2 cents. I think that's kind of going to help. I hope. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it will. And who knows what 2021 and you talk about in 2021 in the spring. Who knows what the schedules are going to look like anyway? I mean, are they going to expand, pull back? I mean, I just don't know. There's room for something else like this. So.
And there's no telling what's going to be happening in the world. We may be on lockdown spring 2021. Yeah, I hope we're not.
Free at that point.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we'll see. I just want to get everybody together and have a good time.
Yeah. We'll do it. You're going to pull it off. I got faith in you, man. Let's see. Jacob Shrell might have something to say about that, Clifton Allen says. I don't know who that is, but that's cool.
No, we had a lot. There's a lot of those, Western Louisiana, East Texas guys that were favored. I know Dwayne Taft. Everybody was kind of keeping an eye on him to pull that one out too. But there's a lot of out of town folks that came in and made some noise. I know Greg Blanchard, Drew Gregory. They all cut some pretty good checks out of that deal.
Rodney let him win, he says. Everyone calm down, says Jake. Yeah, Jake, calm these people down, man.
Jake said COVID's going to end after the election.
He's probably right.
Man.
At least it being on television all the time will probably end after that. Hopefully so. Hopefully before then. Hopefully we can get that under wraps and get people back to living normal. But let's see. What else we got in the comments, Ryan? You been reading through any of this? There's been people firing, but mostly just trash talk from Caddo, it seems like.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Caddo's emerging as a favorite. I know Jay wants Lake Cumberland pretty bad. He's pushing Lake Cumberland. I don't know if he works for the Chamber of Commerce or what, but Jay's hard up on that one.
Didn't that lake just get the whole Kentucky cheerleading squad fired? We don't need to go up to a place like that.
They did, and they also put up a 50-inch limit in their tournament Saturday. So
really, might as well just have it on Beaver Lake over here if we're going to do some stuff like that.
Oh, hell no! Let's go back to Ouachita, man. That hammer factory.
Yeah, either one. You're coming to Dardanelle. I've already called my shot, dude. You come to Dardanelle this fall, and it's going to turn your mind around on the Arkansas fish.
Is Iaconelli going to fish that one, do you think? And if he does, do you think anybody will be able to knock Ike off?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. Yes and yes. I hope he fishes it, and if he does, he could be beat. I mean, we've got some hammers here in Arkansas, man. Don't forget.
I keep hearing that.
Don't forget. We got old G Money. Cody Milton don't live far from there.
Hey, listen. Can't nobody argue with Cody Milton.
Yeah, man.
That guy catching about anywhere. Dwayne Beatty, where's he at? He's out there somewhere.
He's up my way, but he can get down. It's 2 hours from here, so it's just right there.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah, we got some good ones. All right, Dave. Rodney Kennan, if you could only throw one lure, what would it be?
Done.
I think I got to say Cinco right now. There's times where I would have just said a jackhammer or a kite jack, but I think maybe the old Cinco has more applications. I mean, it just seems like you can throw that about around anything. I mean, unless you're playing deep, then it's a little tougher. But
you got to put a weight on it then.
Yeah, a big freaking nail in the head.
Can't argue with that, man. Can't argue with success. Why don't you hold it in Indiana and see if y'all can come here and catch them? Is there a lake big enough to hold all these people in Indiana?
Oh yeah.
There is.
Well, the first problem is, Adam, I don't know where Indiana is, so that's going to be tough for me to figure out. Number one.
It's the same way we find Michigan. From your place, you go west till you smell it, north till you step in it. That's how that goes.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding, man. Right. No hate for Indiana. I hate Michigan though. Different story. You're gonna come around, Ryan. Cinco does work. Yeah, man.
Frank's out here acting like I don't throw Cincos. I think I cashed 3 checks on Gunnersville throwing a Cinco last fall, man. I mean, I'm not against the Cinco at all. I threw it Saturday. I just didn't find big fish on it, man. I'm sorry.
I like
Daniel Perry. Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah, man. I love that idea. Revenge of the Nerd style. Maybe a talent show at the end, just like that. That'd be awesome.
A talent show? You think we should do like karaoke or something?
Yeah, or whatever.
Okay.
Maybe we'd have some, dancers or something in the group that want to get up there.
Dancers. Corey Dryer's in charge of bringing the dancers.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and put that out there.
Yeah. All right. Adam Cartwright's serious. He's dropping lakes: Patoka, Geist, and Monroe in Indiana. Is that the legit big lakes there, Dave?
Of those 3, I fished Monroe. I think Monroe would show out pretty well, I think.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Is it warm enough in the spring to have a tournament up there?
depends on what time of the spring. I mean, right now it's rolling pretty good. I mean, for the last month or so, it's been showing some 20 plus fish, quite a few of them.
Oh, I've been seeing these
What
online
are the
tournaments.
average? What are the average bags up there for bass boat tournaments? Do you have any idea?
Bass boat? Yeah, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you, but I'm just again, like the Lake Monroe local trail they've got. I think they're seeing upper 80s, low 90s, pretty regular.
Okay, all right.
So
That's pretty solid.
yeah,
And it's probably still pre-spawn there or spawn. Are they spawning up there right now?
they're at least into spawn, and it's probably kind of all three phases going on a little bit, but I think there's definitely been some spawn going on. That's
I don't
southern
know if
Indiana, so it's not
I don't know if y'all's weather's been as crazy as what the Tennessee River has, but the Tennessee River has been a mess all spring. Flood stage, then they'll drop it down below winter pool, just back and forth. That's why you were catching fish, pre, during, and post. I mean, they're late, really. It's a late spring as far as the fish go right now.
Yeah, and around here, all three of our White River lakes are holding water like you wouldn't believe. Somebody told me Bull Shoals was like 20 feet up.
Really?
Yeah, they're afraid to open the gates and flood everything downstream, but it's climbing. Table Rock's way up, Beaver Lake's way up. It's all up in the picnic tables and day use areas and everything else. Everybody's talking about low 60 water temps in southern Indiana. Different things going on there. Yeah, I think that's why you see these online tournaments. A lot of the guys from Iowa and Indiana and Illinois are putting up huge numbers all of a sudden. They're hitting it right in the pre-spawn spawn time, and a lot of these southern lakes are, they're into the post-spawn and struggling or flooded, one or the other.
That guy in Michigan's still whacking on the KBBT, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'd say that bite will hold up for a while.
Yeah, then the deep south guys, it's way on past the spawn. They'll probably get out towards their southern pattern.
Yeah.
Different animal. Rodney King said Table Rock's 13 plus. Yeah, these lakes are high, man. Lakes are high. Yeah, shut up, Jake. You wild boy. He got a comment for everything.
I know he does. Bless his heart.
I bet he's at work. That's your tax dollars at work right there. Commenting on KBN Live.
Don't ever let him give you a sobriety test. I'll tell you that. You'll fail every time.
Oh, God. Anybody else got anything more for Dave? Everybody's just still talking about the weather.
No, Frank was asking about Chick being up 4 feet. Frank, yes, Chickamauga was up 4 feet. You could notice by the water on top of the docks instead of underneath the docks. That's always a telltale sign. If there's water over the docks, it's up.
Well, we've been going about 50 minutes or so, Ryan.
I like it.
We don't have a bunch of questions flying in. We sure appreciate Dave taking the time to come on here and break down how he dominated Chickamauga with a wide array of techniques. Sometimes it's just the simplest thing, and you don't overcomplicate it and get it done. So we appreciate you taking the time, sir.
Yeah, all my goal was beat Ryan in that tournament. He didn't know that, but that was my only goal. Wasn't to win.
You almost doubled my score, so I'll say you did pretty well at that.
Yeah, I was thinking, if I could just beat Ryan, and if I only knew how, I'd come out with a meme with me holding Ryan's 7.
Yeah, all right.
Get out of here. Get out of here, Dave.
Chase Tanner, are you watching? Get to work on that, please.
Jeff, cancel this episode. Delete it. It's not going on the podcast.
You're breaking up, Dave. You're breaking up. Oh, that's awesome, man. That is
well,
awesome.
Congratulations, Dave. I will take a beating from you anytime you're ready to deliver.
I'd love to do it again sometime.
Come on, man.
I'm Kentucky. Ready. Let's try Kentucky. I'm sure you'll be there, right?
I will be there, and I am pretty good at taking beatings on Kentucky, too. So we can do that for sure.
All right, man. We sure appreciate you once again. Everybody's watching. We appreciate y'all watching and commenting. We'll try to get something else lined up for next week, back on our new regular night, huh, Ryan?
Yeah, let's do Monday. Back on Mondays.
Back on Mondays. All right. Well, hey, thanks again, Dave. Awesome interview. Appreciate you taking the time. We're going to wrap this thing up.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Right, you stay safe down there in Savannah, my man.
I got my bulletproof vest. I'm about to go to the corner store.
All right, man. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. We're out of here.
All right.